Hi everyone, today we are looking at Rosyth. Now as you can see over here, this is gaps and interval question. Gaps and intervals question. I say that again, gaps and interval question. Okay, so you want to quickly note down your concept first for gaps and interval. All right. Well, as you can see over here, it says what 13 pots of plants are arranged. Okay, are arranged in a row of equal distance apart. Okay, so again, if I have 13 pots, how many gaps do I have?
14.
10 or 12?
12.
Why do you say 10 at first?
I said 14 at first.
Oh, you said 14. Okay, so remember, let's say if I have my fingers drawn out, okay?
It's
All right, 1,
confident.
2, 3, 4, 5, right? That means to say I have how many? I have how many? I will have one less than, correct or not?
Yeah,
So over here has to be 12 what?
12 gaps.
Gaps. Am I making sense? Do you understand or don't understand?
Understand.
Okay, Ken?
Yeah,
Can understand or don't
yeah,
understand?
understand.
Okay, perfect. Now, sentence number 2, it says what?
The distance between the first pot and of the first pot planet and the fifth pot of planet is 1, 3, or 4 meters.
Very good. First to the fifth. So that means if I draw a flower, 3, 4, 5, right? Can you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Can you see that?
Yeah,
How many gaps are there?
4.
5 pots. Very good. 4 gaps. Am I making sense? 5 pots, 4 gaps. And they say that it is 1 3 over 4 meters. So we know that 4 gaps is basically 1 3 over 4 meters. Our job is to find out 1 gap. Am I making sense here?
Yeah,
Can you press the calculator and tell me what is it? How do I find 1 gap? Very simple, right? I just have to ask myself, how do I get from 4 to 1? I divide by 4. And then I will also
7 over
divide by 4 on the
16.
other side. What is that?
7 over 16.
7 over 16 meters. Okay, I trust your calculations. You sure that calculation is correct, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay, can. So what we are going to do now, okay, of course, we are going to make sure we read the next part, right? Because this is as good as my Mr. Green Man. Okay, the question says, the distance between the second pot to the 12th pot. Now, I want everyone to be very careful. From the second to the 12th, okay, you can either count by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but I feel that this method doesn't really make much sense. So I will use something that is simpler. Say, for example, I'll say second to fourth. From second to fourth, how many are there in total? 3 pots.
3.
Agree or disagree?
Yeah,
First to fifth, 5 pots. Agree or disagree?
so it's like
First to fifth
11.
is easy, right? You know first to fifth is 5, right? But it is the tricky part is second to fifth, second to fourth, all right? So second to fourth, we know that it's 3 pots, right? How do we actually get 3 pots? We did the last digit, which is 4, minus 2, we get 2, then we
Plus
get
1.
1. Agree?
Yeah,
So let's find. Let's see whether if we use, say, for example, from the 6th to the 12th, are we able to do that? The last number minus this, we get 6, we plus 1, we get 7. Is that correct or not? 7 pots, right? From 6
yeah,
to the 12th. So from the 2nd to the 12th, it will be 12 minus 2, which is 10. Then we plus 1. That
11.
gives me what? 11 pots
11.
total. Am I making sense?
Yeah,
That's how you can do it. All right. If you're like, oh, I'm not too sure, right? So 11 pots means I have how many gaps?
10 gaps.
Very good. So if 10 gaps basically means I get from 1 to 10. Agree or disagree?
Yeah,
Then I also want to, when I do something to my left, I must do something to my right.
right.
Am I making sense here so far?
Yeah,
Okay, so what I want to do now, of course, I want to do 7 over 16 times 10. Am I making sense? You get to 70 over
4/3/8.
60. How much?
4/3/8.
Very good. 4 3 over 8 meters. And therefore, this is your answer for this question. Now, for question number 3, it says that a strip of paper 60 cm long. Where's that 60 cm? That 60 cm is basically whatever that is over here. Okay, whatever that is over here, whatever that is over here. Do I know the breadth? The breadth is still something that is what we call our unknown, okay? So this is an area and perimeter kind of question. As you can see over here, what happens is that I fold it. The moment the word folding comes, right, I need to know that, okay, something is overlapped. Something is overlapped. There is an overlapping happening. Now, if you can imagine with me that if I were to unfold this, what happens, okay, is that this part over here, this part over here, this part over here, this part over here are all what we call overlapping. So what I want you to do is I want you all to do this together with me. If you can get a piece of paper, all right, make it into a long strip of paper, make it into a long strip of paper, and then really see for yourself. You got to see for yourself. You see, if it's a long strip of paper and I fold it downwards once first, so I will just fold it downwards once. I will fold it downwards once. It becomes like that, right? And then what happens is that I'm going to fold it inwards again to make it into like a, look like yeah, basically whatever that you see over here. Okay, my paper is not long enough, but you can see that some parts are overlapping, and the parts that are overlapping are all of the triangle. Okay, you see for yourself, when you fold it, you must see it for yourself. Okay, that all of the overlapping parts are all of the triangle. So I want you all to write over here, there are 4 triangles in total, and these 4 triangles are all what we call our overlapping parts. Now, so when you find, when you find the area of the unfolded one, the strip of paper, which is this one over here, let's ask ourselves, what do you think the area would be? The area will be the length times the breadth. But when you come to this, you realize that the area is basically number 1 plus number 2 plus number 3 plus number 4, and we still need to add the overlapping parts. And that is the reason why. That is the reason why there is a difference. The difference is caused by, let me just write this down, caused by the 4 triangle. So what I can say is that 4 triangle is basically equals to 18 centimeters square. We will now then find, we will in fact convert this to 2 square, because 4 triangles means 2 square. How do I know that? Because 1 square is how many triangle? 1, 2 triangle. So 4 triangle will be how many? Can you see? Can you see 4 triangles is 2 square? So we know that, okay, it is also 18 centimeters square. Our job now is to find 1 square. 1 square is basically 9 centimeters square. And when it comes to square, you know, obviously, right, that it is basically square numbers. So the length, let me write down the length of 1 square. The length of 1 square will basically be 9 square root 9. We get to 3 centimeter. Okay, where is 3 centimeter? 3 centimeter is basically the length of the square. But when we come to here, we realize that it is also the breadth. So this is 3. Okay, so this is basically the breadth of the strip of paper. The breadth of the strip of paper, as you can see over here, this is basically 3 cm. Now, therefore, the area of the strip of paper, the area of the strip of paper is basically, like I said, 60 times 3, which is equals to 180 centimeters square. Now the question says find the area of the shaded folded strip. So very simple. You know that the difference in area between the strip of paper and the folded strip is 18, right? So to find the area of the shaded folded, so you write down area of shaded folded strip is basically equals to 180. You minus away 18. And that is the reason why your answer for this question has to be 162 centimeter square. Now, you can see over here, the figure is made out of a trapezium, right? And 2 parallel lines. The moment you see 2 parallel lines, you need to, oh, this should trigger all of your angles information. It means that we are going to use something called zebra cannot fly. Okay, my Z angle, my C angle, my F angle. Can you understand?
Yeah.
So what you want to do right now, of course, okay, because we know that this and this is parallel, that means to say, I need to make sure I have, okay, I need to make sure I have my C angle. Can you see my C angle? You cannot see.
Can see.
You see, very good. So we can actually find out what is B already. We can easily find out what is angle B. We can easily find out
105.
angle B. Very good. 180 degrees minus away 75 degrees. What's your answer?
105.
105 degrees. Why is that so? Because again, this is what we call a C angle. Over here, we write down an interior angle. C angle means interior angle. Can? Okay. Use a pencil. Quickly note this down. 105 degrees. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, we can also find out what is this, right? True?
75 degrees.
Sorry.
75 degrees.
Why is it 75 degrees?
Because it'll be like opposite also.
Oh, but this is a trapezium.
So it's like just
So you cannot say
180
this and this
minus
is the same.
105.
No, 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 no. Wait, 100. No, that is not true also. You know why that is not true or not? Because you see, one thing for sure is this. You want this and this to be add up to 180 cannot be, right? Because this part and this part, they are not.
Oh,
Yeah, so cannot. You agree or disagree? But actually, you can find this angle. Let's call this angle F. Okay, let's give it a name. Angle F is basically equals to 360 degrees minus away 240 degrees.
oh yeah.
Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? Yes or no?
Yes.
Very good. So you know that angle F is basically my 120 degrees. Then that's when you can go and find angle E. You can go and find angle E. Why is that so? Because angle E, once again, it is what? Within a set or a pair of parallel lines. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
So 180 degrees minus away 120 degrees, we get to an answer of 60 degrees. Where is my 60 degrees? Angle E is 60 degrees. Make sense or don't make sense?
Makes sense.
Well, the question says, hey, can you find for me the two angles which add up to 75? Okay, don't worry about that. Let's continue finding, Ken.
Yeah.
What else? What else? What else? What else can we find?
D is 70 degrees.
D is what? How do you know D is 70 degrees?
180 minus 60 minus 50. Because
Very
it's the angles on a straight line.
Very good. Can you understand? You see how important it is, right? To really note down the two parallel lines. Important or not?
Yeah.
Okay, angle D, again, I'm going to write over here, angle D is equals to 180 degrees minus away 60 degrees minus away 50 degrees. Make sense or don't make sense?
Makes sense.
When you do that, you get to 70 degrees. Okay, so we know that this is 70 degrees, Can?
Yeah.
Okay, what else can I find? What else can I find? Any idea? What else can I find? You want to see? I need to find A, right? I also need to find A, right? I also need to find
Yeah.
C. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Yeah? How am I supposed to find A and C? You don't know, right?
Yeah.
You won't be able to find their individual length, right?
Yeah.
Will you be able to find their individual length or you cannot?
Cannot.
Cannot, right? But you know that when I group them up together, angle C plus angle A is actually what? If I don't want the individual, I just want the total of what? Of A and C. What do you think it will be? Angle A plus angle C is how much?
75.
Very good. 180
Oh,
degrees
that's the
minus
answer.
away 105 degrees. Can you understand? I always tell my students, when you don't know the individual, you always go for the grouped one. Am I making sense or not making sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so therefore, A and C, we don't know exactly the individual one, but we know that the total is 75 degrees. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Well, then, of course, we can do B really easily. Which two angles add up to 165 degrees? You can see angle
B
B
and E.
and angle E. Okay, so I guess if I can just summarize this question, right, is that you need to know this part the most. This part is the most important. The zebra cannot fly part. Understand?
Understand.
Right? If I draw a trapezium, let me just draw another trapezium for you to see. If I tell you that this is parallel to this, it means that this angle and this angle forms a C. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Then the other side must also form a C. This angle and this angle will add up to 180 degrees. Can you understand?
Yes.
A parallelogram, because all of the sides are all parallel. You get what I'm trying to say or not? So this angle and this
Yeah.
angle, let's call this A and B. A and B should add up to how much? 180
180.
degrees. Understand what I'm saying or not? C and
Yes.
D must also add up to 180 degrees. A and C can also add up to 180 degrees. B and D can also add up to 180 degrees. Do you want to ask why or you could understand?
Understand.
I'm going to show you the C angle. You see A and B can see the C angle or cannot see?
Can see.
Okay, sorry, I accidentally erased that. Can you see the C angle or cannot see? Can see
Can
my C
see.
angle? Okay, then C and D, can see my C angle for my C and D?
Yeah,
Then now I show you another, I use a thicker color again, I use another color so that it will be more obvious. For example, A and C, why is it that A and C, they are, can you see my C angle? Like wearing a cap for the angle, correct or not? Like for the parallelogram. Then
correct.
P and D also C angle, correct or not? Why? Because this part and this part, they are both what? Parallel. Am I making sense?
Makes sense, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that's how you would do a question like. Now what happens is that Mrs. Lee left town P for town where? For town Q. So what I want
Yeah.
to do is, of course, I want to draw a timeline. Okay, I want to show exactly what do I want to show. I want to show that this is P and then this is Q. Am I making sense? Okay. And who is this? This person is called Mrs. Lee. Okay, so Mrs. Lee will have the first timeline. Agree so far? Okay, and then after that we have another person. We have another person called Mr. Kumar. Mr. Kumar is going from Q. Mr. Kumar is going from Q to P. So Mr. Sri going towards this side. Mr. Kumar is going towards this side. Am I making sense? Write down as many
Yeah.
information as you possibly can. We say that the speed is equals to 60 kilometers per hour. Make sense? And Mr. Kumar is going at a speed of 80 kilometers per hour. Well, so from here itself, you know that, well, what is it? What concept is it? I believe this is like a meetup. True?
Yeah.
Under meetup, there are two types, okay, whereby, for example, the first one is that they share the same sharing, okay, more of like a sharing kind of concept. Okay, this is quite easy. Okay, the other one is where we have to use difference. Okay, I will not tell you which one first. As we proceed, as we go on, you will see why is it difference or why is it sharing, okay? Any other information that I can squeeze?
Um,
Any other information?
Mr. Kumar left 20 minutes later. That's the
Oh,
difference.
that is very important, right? What is this called? This is called time. What is this 20 minutes called? This is the
Time
time. Time what?
difference.
Very good. This is the time difference. Is this a very important information? Definitely. Make
Yeah,
sense?
makes
Okay.
sense.
All right. So what happens is that Mrs. Lee left town P. So 20 minutes later, where is Mrs. Lee? Mrs. Lee is already over here. I'm going to use the same color, black color for Mrs. Lee. Okay, I'm going to use black color for Mrs. Lee. So Mrs. Lee is where? Mrs. Lee is over here. True?
Yeah,
Okay, so what happens is that we can find out, we know that the time taken over this part, the time taken for this part, let me just write down over here, the time taken for this part is 20 over
um,
60.
20 over 60.
Very good. All right, this is 20 over 60. 20 over 60, that becomes what? 1/3. 1/3 hour. Am I making sense?
Yeah,
Her speed is 60 kilometers per hour. Am I making sense? So that means to say the
yes,
distance over here will be 60 times 1/3. Are you able to understand this or you don't understand?
understand.
When I do 60 times 1/3, what do I get? I get
20.
50 kilometers. Okay, that means Mrs. Lee has already traveled 20 kilometers. Then Mr. Kumar started.
So to do 20 kilometers, like, to find the time Mr. Kumar took to catch up.
Sorry, say again.
You need to use the 20 kilometers and like Mr. Kumar was like 80 kilometers to find like the time catch up.
Okay,
The
no,
time
so,
needs to catch
okay.
up.
Don't worry about, okay, I understand what you're trying to say, but actually, it's not that complicated. You see, I'm going to show you something else, Ken.
Yeah,
Mrs. Lee met Kumar 50 minutes after she left town P. That means, where did they meet? Let's find the meeting point. The meeting point should be, I estimate it to be somewhere here lah. Ken?
can.
When Kumar is here, Mrs. Lee is here. And Mrs. Lee has already traveled how much? They say what? Correct or
They
not?
say 50 minutes.
Yeah. So that means to say, time over here is what? 30 over 60, half an hour. Am I making sense or not making sense?
But how do you know half an hour?
How do I know half an hour? Because they say what? Mrs. Lee met Mr. Kumar 50 minutes after
Oh, C
she.
minor.
Yeah, right? This 50 is split up into 20 and 30. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Do you understand? So this is 60 kilometers per hour. Make sense?
Makes sense.
What is my distance? My distance will be 60. 60 times half, which is actually equals to 30 kilometers. Can you understand this or don't understand? You
I
see,
understand.
both Mr. Sri and Mr. Kumar needs to contribute. Mr. Sri cannot say let's meet, but then Mr. Sri stay at home. Cannot be. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. This is everything in life. When you want to do well for math, you need to give your part. Teacher Joseph needs to give his part. Then we both meet in the middle. That's the best part. You see, where's Mr. Kumar? Mr. Kumar needs to contribute this green color part. Am I making sense?
Mm.
And you realize that Mr. Kumar actually traveled for how long? Do you know Mr. Kumar traveled for how long?
Um, no.
But we are able to find out, right? We know
Yeah.
Mr. Kumar's speed. We know Mr. Kumar's speed is 80 kilometers per hour. And did you realize that Mr. Kumar actually traveled for 30 kilometers? Sorry, I apologize. Did you realize that Mr. Kumar traveled for half an hour? I meant 30 minutes just now.
Yeah, because that's when we meet up.
Sorry?
Because of 15 minutes.
You see, when Mrs. Lee is over here, where is Mrs. Lee? Can you see my cursor?
Yeah, and then
When Mrs. Lee is over here,
Kumar
Kumar
started.
started driving. Am I making sense or not?
So he only takes the 30 minutes.
Correct. So time is constant. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
But what you do within the time is it can be different, right? Like teacher Joseph, in 2 hours time, I can run, say for example, 10 kilometers, example. But for Carl, in 2 hours time, you can run 10 kilometers. But our time is still constant. But the speed and the distance is different. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
My distance over here is 80 times half, which is equals to 40 kilometers. Do you understand or don't understand?
Understand.
Shall we solve the question already? Or can we solve the question already?
Yeah, we can just add
What is the
the
question? What is the
distances.
distance between town P and?
Count to.
Very good. So distance between town P and Q will basically be 20 kilometers plus 30 kilometers plus 40 kilometers. Am I making sense?
90.
Very good. Okay, can you understand very well or you are just memorizing?
Understand.
Don't memorize. Never memorize. When you understand, you don't need to memorize. When you memorize, you don't understand. Okay. All right. So this is 90 kilometers, and therefore this is your answer for this question. Well, so again, as you can see, come you help me. This is a square ABCD. So whenever it's a square, you want to quickly write that down, note that down, note them down.
It's 90 degrees.
As much as possible, note them down. Okay. And I think more importantly is this equilateral triangle ABE. Where is this? What is this equilateral triangle ABE? ABE. So that means to say this is 60. True?
Mm.
Right. So this is 60. Correct or not? So this
Yeah.
entire thing is 60. Correct or not? So then we say that
Yes.
this is what? This is 30.
30.
Makes sense? And in fact, that is my first one, right? Which is basically what they want us to find, which is 30 degrees. Make sense?
Yeah. Makes sense.
What else is 30? This is also 30.
That's
Agree, disagree?
30.
Okay.
Yeah.
They say triangle BDG. Where's triangle BDG? Follow my cursor. B over here. Come down to D. D go to G. Can you see this big triangle?
Yeah.
Okay, nothing much to do about that. Next one, BEG back. B over here. Come down to E. Go up to G. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, this is one triangle. Can you see it?
Yes.
So I can actually find this pink color one. I'm gonna highlight pink color for you. How do you find this pink color? This
Because
is angle FEH. I will just write over here. Okay, for y'all have to of course note down of the
like the when I square it in half, that'll be like
yeah.
45
Can you see
degrees.
42 degrees? 180 minus 60 minus away 60 over here minus away 18 over here. You get 42. Can?
Yes.
Okay. What else do I know? I know that AFE and BFD are straight lines. A lot of students think that straight lines are not important. But actually, straight lines is super important. When you know it's straight lines, it's either vertically opposite or maybe it broke something into half. And in this situation, it is
It
that
broke it into half.
it has broken this BFD. All right, BFD is over here. AFE is over here. Can you see these two straight lines? When they intersect, what happens is that this part and this part is the same. We call
Mm.
that vertically opposite angle. This part and this part is the same. Make
Yeah.
sense? Well, The next question they want us to find is BHG. Where is BHG? B is over here, come down to H, go up to G, go to G, right? So actually, this
Yeah.
is the one that we are trying to find. I just put a dot there, Ken.
Yes.
How do I go about that? Well, first thing first. Can we find this part? If it's a straight line, that means to say this is 45. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
All right. So what I want to do is I want to say that the other side is also 45.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yes.
Agree? So I can find this purple color already, actually. Can I find this purple color? Because if this is 45, this is the triangle, right?
Yeah, just minus.
180 minus 45 minus 30, we get to 105. This is 105.
Then we can already solve.
This also is 105. True?
Yeah.
Well, then now what else can I
Angles,
find?
you
What
can
else
use
can I
angles
find?
and not points to
Sorry,
find
say
it.
again.
You can use like the, and it was like 360 minus 105, and then minus like 30, and then
Okay.
minus 108.
Oh, okay. You're using the quadrilateral, is it? But
Yeah.
where's my 108? Where do you get the 108 from?
The red one you did, because it's 108 would be from
Now, I want you to
like,
look at I want you to look at A. I want you to look at A, B, E, and P. Can you see that it is a quadrilateral?
yes.
Can you see? Okay, if you cannot see that, right, never mind, forget it. Don't use the quadrilateral. I want you to look at just a triangle. E, A, and P. You see, EAP is a triangle, correct or not?
Yeah.
I can find angle APE, what? Right? 180 minus away 30 degrees minus away 42 degrees. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
All right. So when I do that, what happens is that I get to 108 degrees. Make sense?
Yeah, and then you can use the quadrilateral.
Yeah. Then we can use quadrilateral to find my angle, which is
Just
BHG.
minus off.
BHG is the dot one. I'm just gonna use red color, which is this dot over here. I just increase the dot size. Can you see that? Now,
Yeah.
why is it a quadrilateral? Maybe some cannot see, right? Some will be like, hey, where do you get a quadrilateral? I'm going to use green color. I'm going to shade my quadrilateral here. I'm going to outline, I apologize. Can you see my quadrilateral?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't know what shape is this. Is it trapezium, parallelogram, rhombus? We don't care.
180 minus
We
105
just,
minus
okay, wait out,
30
wait out.
degrees.
We just need to know that every quadrilateral will always add up to 360 degrees. Make sense?
Yeah.
So 360 degrees minus away 108 degrees minus away 105 degrees minus away 30 degrees. Make sense or don't make sense?
Makes
And
sense.
this explains why your answer for BHG has to be 117 degrees, and therefore this is my answer for this question. Hi everyone, if you like this video, you can click right here for a similar video, or you can view our playlist here.